What's happening, hooligans? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Andy E. In today's video, we are doing our
February
mystery tackle box unboxing. So let's get right into it. All ready? Let's put this together. Oh. Alright, well, I guess we'll start with that one that fell out. First thing we got in here is the Headbanger Lizard. Headbanger makes those crazy jig heads that we got, and it looks like this is a trailer made specifically for that. Look at that. That's a nice color. It's like a green pumpkin. It's got little kickers for the legs, and of course the curl tail on the back. This thing looks freaking saucy. My only concern, kind of, is like the middle has this split here and a split on the back, and it feels pretty thin. So I feel like trying to texpose this lure or this bait will be a little difficult, only because it's too thin. But dude, this thing's gonna freaking slap. I can already tell. Next, from what I can see, is the jig head that goes with it. Another Headbanger rocker head jig. We've gotten these in like the last 3 boxes. They're optimized for like 4-inch craws, creature baits, and lizard baits. It says it on the back. It's a 4/0 hook. These things are pretty sweet, man. So essentially, it's like a swivel head jig, except it's a little blade. Come on, focus. There we go. A little blade there. So whenever you attach that, this is gonna swim kind of like a chatterbait. So this is going to be moving while kicking this lure that you got on the back on top of like the kicking from like the phalanges of the bait. That's one of my favorite things about mystery tackle boxes, that they normally throw baits in there that work well with each other. Next up, we got some Mustad hooks. These are 4/0. You can never have too many hooks. And the EWG hook, so great, comes with 2. Next we got the Elite Series Arky Jig in a 3/8 ounce weight. You can never have too many jigs. These are freaking sweet. I feel like every mystery box comes with at least 1 jig. But look at this coloring. It's got the purple with the stripes right here on the orange. That's a pretty saucy color. A little more natural craw pattern there. Skip it under docks. Throw it in near some grass. Throw it in some like standing timber and things of that nature. Hop it off the bottom. Can never go wrong with a jig. Speaking of jigs, our next bait is a Googan gridiron football jig, the 3/8 ounce. Essentially, you just want to like drag this on the bottom and like rocky riprap, sir. Back away from that. You don't need to get in those. There's a lot of hooks in there. Oh, it looks a lot better out of the plastic. So it's like a green pumpkin with orange, and even the freaking, what the hell are they called? The grass thing. Whatever. Even this thing right here is green and brown. It's got red flakes in the jig itself. And it also tells you the weight. That's one thing I love about Googan, is that they tell you the weight of the jig on the jig, so you don't have to like assort them as much. Next up, we have a Tungsten Weight Kit here. I would say it's a Carolina weight kit because it comes with beads, but you can use it for whatever. It comes with 2, I think they say, yeah, 1/4 ounce tungsten weights with 6 beads and bobber stops. That's freaking sweet, man. So tungsten's heavier than lead, so you can use a lot less of it when you're making the mold. So that's freaking cool, man. Next up, we have another Googan bait. It's a Googan Clutch. Look at that coloring on there. Let's see if I can show that to you. Look at that. The coloring on there is freaking nuts, man. And the rattles. Very loud. If you look closely, you can see the beads on the bottom. Real light beads. So this thing, when you're swimming it in there, you're going to cast it out, and you can either yo-yo them or you cast it, right, and it just falls to the bottom. Then when you yo-yo, you just pull the rod up and it goes, and then it sinks back down. And then you pull it up again, it rattles up and then sinks back down. But when it sinks, it's going to do like this little swivel down. So you can yo-yo it, or you can just cast it out there and just straight retrieve it. And essentially, it's just going to be doing this. And it's really going to get a lot of reaction bites and just bites in general. I love me a rattle trap. You can never go wrong with the rattle trap. I personally use the red eye shad rattle traps only because they're really good quality. The weights on them are great. The rattles on them are great. And that was like my first ever confidence bait. And I always use a white one or a red one. But hey, you can never go wrong with a natural color or even this color, the Ghost Scale. From the looks of it, it looks like they're getting us ready for spring. It's getting warmer down here in the south. We had a freeze, one more freeze like a couple days ago. But it's been in the 60s for the past week, and it's going to be in the 60s this upcoming week. So I think they're getting ready for pre-spawn. Essentially what pre-spawn is bass are starting to move out from that deep water. Water's going to start rotating. They're going to start getting set up to spawn. So they're going to start moving up to these shallower areas and start getting ready for the babies, you know? So let's move on. Next up we have another Googan Squad bait. This is the Flat Banger. So essentially it's just like your other flat build bangers that you get like a crankbait, except this one's called the flat one, not because it has a flat bill, but because instead of it being rounded out on the sides, it is flat and thin. Most of them come out like they have this little bulge here, but this one's flat and thin. Look at the coloring on that. It's got the shad pattern, the gray on top, the chartreuse on the bottom with the white, but it's got these iridescent scales there. And of course, it's got your flat bill. Focus on the bait, please. Thank you. So this goes 3 to 6 feet. Again, you cast this out there, mainly shallow, along like riprap, or like a rocky bottom, if you will. And essentially what this is going to do is it's going to swim and it's going to bounce off that cover. And what you want to do is once it hits that cover, you let it die, and then it slowly start floating up. And then you bring it back, and once it hits another piece of cover, let it die. Let it start floating up. I noticed a lot of bass will hit it on that. You can slow retrieve it. I've had bass hit it on the slow retrieve. Or you can just speed crank it and get that reaction bite. But those are 3 different ways to fish it. Leave a comment if you know any other ways to fish it. I'm not a pro, so let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have a 1,000 fishing cycle bait. 10,000 fish. Did I say 1,000? 10,000 fish. So 10,000 fish, I genuinely love the way they style their baits. They're very different, you know. The Tsukoshi bug is really cool. The tickle tail, like, what is it? The Yodo worm, the 10,000 fish Yodo worm that we've got in a previous video is really good. It even says to use it as a trailer. They don't have a lot of baits, but the baits that they do have are pretty rad. But look at this. So most of their spinner baits have this like weird chain link, as opposed to like a willow bait, a Colorado blade spinning along the wire right here, and then like another willow blade at the end, just on like a swivel. So essentially, when this is going, oh look at that! It even has this. It's even attached to the jig head. Weird. That's cool. I've never seen that before. So it looks like if you wanted to, you could exchange it with another swim jig head. So most of the time, blades are being held with a swivel. And so the blade's going to free spin. Well, this one, whenever you're swimming it, it's got this free swinging action here for whatever trailer you got on. And this is going to come this way, and then it's going to stop, and it's going to swim the other way. And it's going to go back and forth like that, essentially, as you're swimming it. That's going to create a different action. It's going to create a lot more noise in the water. And you hear the rattling of those chain links. That's pretty cool, man. That's really cool. I can't wait to fish this, man. This thing's going to get some freaking bites. Look at that coloring. It's got The green pumpkin, the orange, it's got a little bit of purple in there and a little bit of blue. That's saucy, man. That's really saucy. I think I have another one by them that I got in a mystery tackle box before I started doing unboxings, and it's like a dark blue one, and I think it's a Colorado blade. And the Colorado blade on it's freaking huge, dude. But let's move on. Next up, we have Zman, what is this? The Streak Z. So I've gotten some of these, and right now this style of fluke is blowing up in the pro fishing industry, because essentially you Demiki rig these things, and that little tail on the end goes freaking nuts. This one has 2 little tails, but I don't think that really matters. Essentially, it's going to be the same. So you attach your jig head, 1/8 ounce or 1/4 ounce jig head. It's the ball jig head, or like any kind of jig head you have, essentially, and you're going to put it in here, and you're going to cast it out there. A lot of pros use them with forward-facing sonar or live scope or anything like that. Essentially, you cast it over the fish, right? Cast it out there, and you got a spinning rod. You're going to use light gear for this. And when it's out there, as you're reeling it in, you're going to give your rod a little shake. Just very light shakes. And essentially what that's going to do is going to make this bait do one of these. It's going to kind of do this and bounce, and that tail is just going to be going nuts. So it creates a very natural presentation for these fish, and they just eat it up, dude. Especially in the wintertime, when they're not really moving that much, or when they're feeding on shad, they love that presentation. And the best part about it, it's Elastec. So that thing's going to be freaking indestructible. And I will repeat this, and I'll keep repeating it till I die. Do not mix Zman Elastec material with any other plastics you have. Keep them in their own plastic, in their own clamshell. Do not, let's say you're trying to do a quick switch, and you just rip it off, throw it in whatever bag you're exchanging the lure with, or the plastic bait with, because it'll melt. It'll melt itself, it'll melt with the other plastics. They just do not get along. Great baits, they just are not very friendly with other plastics. Next up, it looks like we have the last bait of the day. Another Googan bait. The Googan Squad Blazing Worm. I freaking love the blazing worms. This is the nightclub color, so it looks like it's going to be a little purple. I can't see. Let me try to open it up. Give you all an example. Oh. God, I love the way Googan baits. The smell that they use, the scent that they use. It's like black licorice. Okay, so this is black with green and gold flakes in there. There we go, look at that. Focus on the bait, not me, please. Thank you. Green and gold, that's freaking saucy, dude. And of course this tail, it's just going to be kicking like this and then going the opposite direction. Essentially it's going like that. You can Texas rig this. Sometimes people swim them. Sometimes people use them as a topwater. It just really depends on how you want to represent this bait to the fish, you know. That tail definitely gives you a lot of different opportunity. And of course you can cut it in half and use it as a trailer if you want. But because that tail is just like gives off so much, the kicking action on it is just so unique. So you can use it as whatever you want. I personally use it as a Texas rig. You can probably use it as some type of Ned rig if you cut it short enough, but that's just me. And then lastly, the piece de resistance, the sticker. And look at this. It's what looks like to me, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it looks like a walleye submarine. That's pretty freaking cool. I haven't had a decent sticker in a long time. It's about time we start getting some better stickers. No offense to Mystery Tackle Box, but you know me, I have beef with with some of the stickers and baits that they've given me before. Not to reflect on any of that. Yeah, that's a freaking sweet sticker. And I got a hard body cooler now that I can stick them on, other than my desk and my Yetis. So let's go. And of course you got your what's inside with the prices. I'll put that price for you right here next to Muffin. And of course you got your dibble. You got Hat Guy on the back showing his bass. And this dibble just shows how to find the right spot to bass fish from shores, panfish and trout fishing, dock shooting panfish, and things of that nature. Toast, please don't wreak havoc. Go over there. We're almost done with the video. Just hold off. And things like that. So, yeah. That's it, guys. Let me know what your favorite bait was in this one. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my favorite box that I've gotten so far. I love Googan Squad gear, Googan Squad baits. And love Zman. Can't go wrong with any tungsten. You can't go wrong with any more hooks. You can't go wrong with any kind of jig heads. And this thing's freaking sweet, man. I haven't got a chance to use it yet, so I'm so excited to use this. But yeah, let me know what your favorite bait was in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. We're basically 10 subscribers away from 100 subscribers. So let's try to get to that. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next Fishing Mission Hooligans. Peace.